Facebook as well. Good morning, everyone. My name is Eleni Summershields. I'm the Chief Operating Officer here at Wise Agent. Welcome to the Wise Agent webinar series this morning. I think we're live. Oh, I do see people coming in. Okay, there we go. And so I have fabulous Sarah Webb moderating today, and I have a good friend, Gina Wilkes. Gina is the VP of Client Success at Evocalize. Welcome, Gina. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you. No, super excited to be here and talk to you guys about this awesome digital ad solution that will hopefully make your lives easier and get you more leads. I have a background of about 15 years in the marketing industry with a specialty in digital advertising. And so hopefully we will make you all sophisticated marketers by the end of this call.
I know. I think we're going to be successful in that. And so before we jump in and start having a conversation with Gina and showing off our digital ads in a Wise Agent, you know, I always ask everyone that's in attendance today, if you guys can just post in the chat in the bottom there, there's a chat on your screen, post your what city, state, and what brokerage you're with. I always love seeing where everyone is coming from, Gina. I think it's always so exciting. I'm like, ooh, where, like, is someone gonna be in Hawaii, like from Hawaii?
I like it. Yes, where are you?
Like, we have a special like little surprise for people from Hawaii. I don't know if it'll be a surprise, but so there we go. Some people chiming in from Florida and Colorado. And then also another thing to note, there's a Q&A section on the bottom of your screen. You could use that to post any questions that you have. And then Sarah, who is moderating the chat in the Q&A section, will be able to reply to you. If you are watching this on Facebook or on the replay on YouTube or the Facebook Live replay, go ahead and post your comments in there as well. So and then we'll be watching those as well throughout the time that it's living forever and ever out in the social world.
on the line.
Online, right? Okay, so awesome. We got someone here from Dayton. That's where I was last time. I know last week I was on the webinar and I'm like, I was just somewhere in Ohio and I couldn't remember what city I was in. I was in Dayton. So when I saw that come up, I was like, that's where I was. So welcome everyone and thanks for joining in. So Gina, we have been working on an integration with Evocalize for a few months now. You and I have been working really close and our teams have been working really close. It has been a pleasure to work with you guys, all of you. And I think it's fair to just jump in, if that you're okay with that, to jump in and talk a little bit about like why do agents need to be using digital ads? And then we'll show, and then once you tell us like the why, then I'm going to jump in and share my screen and show how you can do that through Wise Agent.
Absolutely. So really the why behind this is to be always on and create this lead generating machine that you can set it and forget it and not think about it and have contacts flying in to Wise Agent platform that you can then nurture. So that is the goal, is to give you these always on leads that you can then nurture that are coming into the platform. As we know, it's a tough market out there right now.
Yeah, it's hard. There's a lot of people maybe looking to buy, but not many that are looking to sell. And so this is a great way of, you know, how do I get that question asked to me all the time, is how do I add more people to my database? How do I get more lead generation? Does Wise Agent provide lead generation? So now we're proud to say that yes, we do provide lead generation through our digital ads and our landing pages, and we're going to talk all about that. So I'm going to, as promised, I'm going to share my screen here so you all can see how this would work within Wise Agent. So, and one of the things too, Gina, if you can, I mean, I think you would agree with this statement, is that running digital ads can be a little bit tricky. Like, you have to know what you're doing.
There's a lot of complexity to it. Honestly, I started at this company called Atlas Solutions, and they are now Facebook's ad server these days. And that was 15 years ago. And these things are just so complex. There's so many levers to pull. So our goal is that we've set up these programs and we've done all the complexity and the integrations on the back end so that you just have to do a few clicks. And then poof, you are a very sophisticated marketer generating leads.
Yeah, yeah. And then use the CRM to build and nurture those relationships. So then you can get to the closing table, right? So, all right. So here's my screen of Wise Agent. And then I'm just going to click on the marketing tab and click on digital ads here. And then that will take me, oops, it's going to take you, it's not going to take you at first to this screen, and you actually have to turn it on from our, I should probably have gone that route first too, huh? From your integration settings, you do have to initiate the integration from here, from your integration settings. There, it'll say digital ads somewhere, and then you'll just want to, connect from here. So it'll ask you to connect, and then you can just log in. You can click this button. It'll take you to this page here, and this is your main dashboard. And so these here, maybe Gina, you want to explain a little bit about, a couple of, because there's a couple of options for everyone to choose from. And we were really selective and methodical when we were going through these and selecting what kind of ads that people will want to run, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And believe it or not, this was us honing it down. So we don't want to overwhelm you, but we'll let you know, we'll walk you through each and let you know maybe what is relevant to you based on what you're trying to achieve. So a just listed buyer lead, this is going to run on Facebook properties. So like Facebook, Instagram, Facebook Marketplace, as well as Facebook Messenger. And within there, if you have a new listing, this would be promoting that ad. So the picture of the house saying just listed, you could have your agent image there. And the objectives would be leads. So this would prompt the user when they click on the ad to fill out a lead form. And in that lead form, we would ask questions such as, are you currently working with an agent? Yes or no? And how soon are you looking to buy? So that if they do, mark just browsing, maybe they're not that serious of a buyer.
Yeah. And I clicked on this page just so you can see, your listings here from your Wise Agent account. So anything that you have on your property list in Wise Agent will be displayed in here. And so then you can just click on this, and any of the images that are there will just be automatically filtered for this ad. And then, because like we said, there's a lot of complex things that go into creating an ad. One of the most complex things I think is the audience, right? Like who you are targeting, because that is something that's like the biggest basis of how well your ad is going to run, right, Gina? It's not like,
yes.
That's the biggest thing. The creative is part of it too, like in the image and the words, but your audience and who you're targeting is the biggest hurdle.
Absolutely. One of the key benefits of this product, digital ads, and using it through Wise Agent is that Wise Agent has already pre-populated some audiences for everybody to use, and that we are connected into the platform so that you can build your own audiences based off of your contacts. So you can build special ad audiences, which are lookalikes off of your contacts, which look at similar attributes of those people that you have in your database. Or you can even do, if you do have a lot of contacts, you can do retargeting to them as well and be in front of, your users and keep that conversation going online.
Yeah.
Super powerful.
Yeah, and since you mentioned that, let me jump over to our contact list here, because I think that is really important. I mean, a lot of people that are asking that might be watching this right now are like, gosh, I have maybe, a few hundred people in here, maybe 1,000 people in my database, and and hopefully everyone's segmenting their audience, right? And this is, again, the importance of segmenting your audience, is because if you're going to be running a digital ad, you want to make sure that you've segmented them as, buyers, sellers, and even agents, because you don't want to have your listing, you're looking for a buyer and that goes to an agent, right? You want to make sure that you're segmenting your audience appropriately. But like Gina mentioned, you can just select a group of people from your database and just create a Facebook audience here. And so once I can, if I want to create this new audience, I can give it a name and a description, and that will create that audience, which will then be something that I can select from my ads. So if I know that these are all of my, potential sellers or somebody that, I know owns a property, then I can, go ahead and reach out to them. But in the case that you don't have, maybe you have a very small database, maybe you have you're starting off, maybe you've got like 30 to 50 people in here. That reach is that's not really going to do it for Facebook, is it, Gina?
It's not. And we definitely have best practices that I know Sarah has put together that we can share on the right audience sizes and how to utilize those.
Yeah, and you can definitely use these in conjunction. So you can say use the universal seller audience that Wise Agent provides to you. And then also use maybe your potential seller audience. And then this will give you, you can target both of them. And then in addition to that, taking your, targeting through a radius of that geolocation, depending either on your listing or some other custom location, right?
Yes, yeah, definitely. Let's say you have really a vacation property and maybe you want to target Northern California. So then you would select the custom location and type in an area around Northern California that you would maybe want to promote this vacation property to.
Right. So, this is a listing maybe in Fountain Hills, Arizona, but I know that people in Chicago, that's where I'm from, and maybe I'll do my hometown of Lincolnwood. Is Lincolnwood on here? It is. So maybe I just want to do, I want to target this to the people of Lincolnwood, and, and that they will be seeing this ad in, 50 miles. That's a long, in Chicago, that's a big radius, but that's what you're going to be targeting, the people from this area here, through this, even though this house is in Arizona, I'm targeting people in Illinois. So that's a really cool little feature that you can do. And then you could do all the creative too. So you can put in here the text. I mean, this does, and how much of the creative plays a role in in your ad and people clicking on it?
A lot of it is the image. It really is the image and having a clean image, especially for listing ads. We do have data that shows that picture of the front of the house, or in this case, the back patio, something that has that kind of curb appeal to it. And maybe it is an elaborate kitchen, but we still find that the front of the home performs better. When it comes, and that too, sometimes less is more. So even just in a headline, having that listing address. So we've already pre-populated the copy here for you to pull in from your listing, which follows best practices. But you are welcome to edit it. Maybe you're targeting, a different area, and you think that there's, a catchphrase or a slogan that might make sense to add to the ad, and you are welcome to do that.
Yeah. And there's a lot of little things, little adjustments that you can make in here, as far as the description and the images. So you can go through and, pick an image, and, you can decide, do you want to have an overlay or not? You can decide if you want your, you want your agent image in here or not have it in there. So there's a lot of those little things that, because this is in a training webinar, Sarah has done a great job of really putting together very detailed training video that will show you all the things. And we just want to highlight a few of these things here. One of the most important parts of an ad, though, is your landing page. It is what is the destination of that lead? Where are you ultimately going to take them, and how is it going to, that's this, taking them through your funnel, taking them through the process of you capturing them.
Yes, and right now we are in specifically a traffic ad. So we have two different types of ads right now that are within the digital ads platform. Some are lead ads, and those ones will specifically say lead ads. And those ones will have a Facebook lead form. The other ones that are traffic ads those ones are going to require that landing page or that destination URL on when the user clicks on the ad, where you want them to drive to. So that could be a listing page, it could be a page to capture their information, it could be one of your Wise Agent landing pages. So you have a lot of opportunity there on what that could be.
Yeah, and we already populate like your Wise Agent list landing pages here for you. And you were talking about having I think it was it this one that we wanted to show, where you can just have your post lead submission. So it would be a page that they go to, because this ad would be slightly different because it will have the form, right? The form already in it with all of their contact information.
You got it. You don't leave Facebook on this one. It pops up the form. And if I'm logged in as myself in Facebook, Gina Wilkes, it would already pre-populate my name and my number. And then it would go into 2 different questions. So the multiple choice of, am I working with an agent? Yes or no. And then how soon am I looking to buy? And it would give those ranges. So all that information would be shared with you, but then it would give them an option to maybe click out of Facebook if they so choose. And to be honest, it's a low click-through rate on this URL, but just know that it doesn't make sense to send them to like another lead form. Maybe it's more about branding, or maybe it's something on the listing directly.
Yeah, that's always a good point to make. And I know there's a couple of questions in here. I see a ton of comments and questions coming in. So one of them being like, so Facebook is rejecting some people's ads. How do they avoid that from happening?
Absolutely. So there are some best practices that we do have written up to share with everybody. But also we have a lot of built-in features that will help stop that from happening. And the Evocalize team does really have a support team that will respond to rejected ads and work through Wise Agent and reach out to you if there is anything that needs to be updated.
Yeah. And I know another question we're getting is, are these ads going to be posted just like on Facebook, or will they also go on Instagram? Do they get posted on both?
Great question. Yep. So these are dynamic ads. So these ones go on Facebook. They also go on Instagram, as well as Facebook Marketplace, and as well as Messenger. So Facebook Messenger. So yeah, those 4 different placements.
Nice. And so, a question, I know I get this question all the time too, Gina, I'm sure you do too, is what's the difference between boosting a post? So like you are out there and you're, maybe you just take one of your listings and you upload the image and you say, hey, I'm selling this great property. And then Facebook always gives you that option. Like, do you want to boost this post? What's the difference between boosting that post and then running a digital ad?
Absolutely. So boosting a post is great for branding. It's an awesome awareness play to do that. And you should continue to do that. Continue to have your business presence on Facebook and boost those posts and grow that Facebook network. Now, what a Facebook ad will allow you to do is get more reach across the Facebook platform. And it's going to allow you then to specifically focus on different objectives. So that the post is very limited to a handful of objectives. Where if you look at the Facebook digital ad, we can then go for traffic and for leads and have that greater dynamic creative and optimization components that Facebook is really good at.
Yeah, because on a post, I mean, when you're posting something, you're just saying like, hey, check out this new listing that I have. But there is, I mean, you'd have to then put the URL of whatever the landing page is or the listing, in your MLS or whatever it is. You have to kind of manually put that call to action there. There is no call to action button from a boosted post, right?
There isn't necessarily a call to action. Whereas like Facebook ads have that customization, where yes, you have more objectives to obtain there. But it can balance it out by doing both. So it's not necessarily a one or the other.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. If you're going to be doing anything on social, you should definitely be doing, posting things, engaging with your audience on there. If you've got a business page, or if you don't have a business page, if you're using your personal page, which, by the way, we even have that solution built in for you, even running our digital ads, because that's one thing. I mean, creating like a whole digital campaign, there's some things that you need to have. There's some pre-requirements. You need to have a business page, right? A Facebook business page. And so then even after that, like you then have to have your audience. And then you have to have, then you have to, obviously the funds have to go in, and everything else, and a budget needs to be set. But really what the integration between Wise Agent and Evocalize, what that's done is eliminated the need for having that business page. It's got to be hard as an agent, and like maybe you're a solo agent out there and you have your personal Facebook page where you have a lot of friends in, because I know this is something that people ask all the time too. You have a few thousand friends, and then you have your business page that you have like, maybe less than 100 likes, or
two things to manage. Yeah,
right.
you have these two things to manage, because you want to keep your personal, and you're a real estate agent, and it is a personal business. Yet Facebook wants you to create this business page, which doesn't always make sense. Which we do have a solution for that. If you don't have a Facebook business page, we do have a backup page that you can utilize within the platform to run against, which is perfect digital ads.
Yeah.
Or so if you wanted to be Rachel Green, we might share that with you too.
Yeah. So I mean, so we have you covered on that, because I know a question is out there that's like, well, what's the difference between running Facebook ads through Wise Agent or just going out there natively? That's I think that's on a few people's minds right now.
Absolutely. And really, you can go and do it natively. It is going to be very complex. This solution that we put together is meant to save you time and already bring all the marketing expertise into each of the blueprints. So you don't have to think about it. You don't have to sit there with a blank slate to think about, what is my headline? What do I need to promote? Who do I need to target? How should I be doing this? We've already thought about all of that for you in the best possible way, and piped in all of the data so that within a few clicks, you can launch an ad. Yeah. So the goal is really time saving as well as then quality.
Yeah. And then money too, because if you run an ad and you don't target the appropriate people, and you don't, have the proper creative behind it, you're going to be wasting money. I mean, I've talked to people that say, oh, I ran this ad for, and this was, years ago, I've ran this ad and it's not running. I'm not getting any leads. And it's like, well, if you're not running it to the appropriate, people, you're not going to, and Facebook is still going to take your money. They're like, well, yeah, this is what you did. So, they're not going to say, oh, sorry, you didn't get anything. Facebook doesn't guarantee you any leads. And we're not guaranteeing you either, but there's a higher probability that you will get leads. And we even did in preparation for today. I'll share you guys with, so obviously this is a demo account. We run a lot of things in our demo account. And I said to Sarah last night before we left, I said, hey, can you run an ad on this Rachel Green account so we could, so we can show the demo and see once you get the lead, because the biggest portion is like creating the ad. And then you also want to make sure that it comes into your CRM so you can nurture and funnel that. And I'm going to share that in a minute too. So we created an ad, and before she canceled it, and she had it running for a couple of hours before she got to the chance to cancel it right away. We already got, this was the ad. We already got leads from it. So just running it for a few hours, we were like, oh, leads came in. That's not, we didn't want leads, but it does work. And it was on for maybe a few hours. And really the benefit is, I mean, obviously this is a great looking picture. It's a great house. And then, but the point is that you can even have, we didn't have any intention on really running this ad, and we ran it for a few hours and 3 leads came in. So, when you put that intention and everything else in it, obviously, and I think it ran for, it was like $100 ad. So it was a minimal cost and that you could run and get these leads. It's a low cost of acquisition for new clients and building your database. So, I mean, it's a great way of doing that. And then, so what happened, I'm going to show you guys here. So then the leads come in. So you can create then, once you create this ad, you can create the rules for it. So this particular ad was called Just Sold 145 Kaluna Loop. Thanks for picking an easy name for me, Sarah. And so, we created the rule for this, saying, okay, as soon as that lead comes into Wise Agent, we want it to go to a drip campaign. We want to automatically add them to a category for the monthly newsletter to, be nurturing the lead. We didn't have the autoresponder on, hopefully, but you want to have like an email response, maybe a text response in there. You want to have some of those things. Now, if you want to get significantly more sophisticated in it, you could also create the AI bot and turn this on, and then, have the AI bot start nurturing that lead that comes in. And so what happens is, and I'll show you here, these are 3 leads that came in. And, if we click on this, some of the questions that are asked are you currently working with an agent? So this was in the form itself. Are you currently working with someone? This person answered no. How soon are you looking to move? How would you prefer to be contacted? And so now I can come in here, if I was really an agent in Hawaii and looking for a seller, and call this person and, start building and nurturing this relationship, reaching out to them, having the conversation, putting all my notes in here, and then doing everything else, and of course, segmenting everything. I want to make sure that I have the source in here. I can add them that this was a seller lead, and so I can also have that in here. And now I can start filling out information based on the conversations that I have with this person, where they go next.
Absolutely. And it is interesting to see with the lead volume coming in, you can really expect to see different ranges depending on the property listing, where you're targeting, what your audience overlay is. But I would really say, like, on average, you can see $4 leads or you can see $25 leads. And it really just depends on the area, the property type, the cost of the property, and those types of things that are falling into it. But with that said, on Facebook, we do recommend usually around like a $50 budget for a 2-week ad, just to meet Facebook minimums. Or if you're looking, to be a little bit more aggressive, then maybe like a $50 a week ad.
Yeah. And I think, that would be something that's, just with a few clicks, it's just so easily done. That really, it just makes sense to be able to do it this way than through that native, the native Facebook account. It just takes so much more effort. There's such a huge learning curve when starting one, especially when you're not even sure what objective to choose.
Absolutely. And also following HEC policy for Facebook and Google. So housing, employment, and credit policy, it's very strict. And so we do have kind of guardrails built into our system to make sure that we are following those policies so that we do not get rejected or blacklisted or anything like that. But typically too, from other companies that we've partnered with, we do see return about around 2 to 4 times than running natively within the platform. And again, you guys, this is a very key setup with the audiences. And even if you don't have the database for your own audiences, the audiences that Eleni and Sarah have piped in for those buyer and seller audiences are gold. And definitely worth testing.
Yeah. And so so let's say we've got people listening right now that are like, I have a database of 30,000 people in my database, right?
That's awesome.
Right? Yeah. And,
First of all, that's awesome.
Right. And maybe they're segmented and it's a mix of, 30,000 people that are buyers and sellers. And it's, what kind of ad do you suggest that they, what do you suggest that they do with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think my first question would be, do you currently have listings? And if you currently have listings, to promote that, potentially even for buyer leads or seller leads. But I would look at doing a lead ad, but I would segregate my audience and build lookalikes off of that. You have enough data to build a lookalike, or in this case by Facebook, it's called a special ad audience, and to find people with similar attributes. If you have a listing ad to promote, that's great. If you don't have a listing ad to promote, I would do like an agent branding ad, but to get leads.
Yeah.
And again, target against that lookalike audience. And I mean, a seller lead is more guaranteed. So maybe focus on the seller lead piece. And we do have an opportunity to even tweak the copy. I think in some of our ads, we say, are you looking to buy or sell? You could even just say, are you looking to sell? And you could update that and make that very specific.
Yeah. And this is, you were talking about, creating your lookalike. So if you've already started with the digital ads, you'll have this manage audiences right over here on this corner. And, and this account is a dummy account. It just doesn't have that much data in here. But if you have a large database, you could create this lookalike, and we will tell you, Facebook will, let us know how, if your audience is too small, and then you won't be able to create that lookalike. But you can still create your own custom audience for yourself. So then you can target those people that you may have already worked with, may have already acquired those leads somehow, some way. You've been acquiring them through one of the portals or from your website. You want to make sure you put them in an audience and then add to that audience. And then once your audience is large enough, where you could go ahead and just click on this lookalike. And what is that number that they're looking for, that Facebook is looking for, Gina, for that lookalike?
It's usually around 300 emails. But really, to get this scale and performance, I would say about 1,000.
Okay. So if you have like 1,000 buyers in your database, or sellers that are even past, and I would say like 3 to 6 months, seller leads. Yeah, because some of that data that Facebook looks kind of, I don't want to say expires, but it does kind of drop off some of the data that they're looking at, right? So if I was looking to sell maybe 3 years ago, I shouldn't be on your list of a potential seller right now.
With the market, you never know.
With the market now, right? It could be anybody. I mean, realistically, it could be anyone. I mean, with this being a seller market, but maybe 3 years ago I was looking to buy, and now, maybe not so much. I have not shown any interest. Would you suggest that they kind of look at that, data every so often, right?
Absolutely. And it's so cool how you can segment your data within Wise Agent and make sure that people are associated in the appropriate spots. Yeah. It is important to refresh your audiences. And, we have partners that do it quarterly, which I think makes a lot of sense in real estate. Yeah. Monthly might be a little too much, but I definitely think on a quarterly basis, just with the seasonality in the market, that could make sense.
Yeah. But like right now, I mean, especially for any agent right now, if you have anyone that owns a home, I think they would be fair to target a seller
Absolutely.
ad too. I mean,
absolutely.
Being the way it is.
Yeah, the market, the way it is, maybe people are looking to sell and downsize or pick up an investment property. All types of things that we don't know. So it doesn't hurt to get in front of them.
Yeah. And then I know we wanted to go over just one of these ads. So I think, what would you recommend as far as like doing, I'm looking for just anybody. Would you which ad do you recommend?
Let's do agent promotion. If you don't have any listings right now, you're growing your business, Note that this one says content selection not needed, because this one we're not bringing in your listings, because in this case you don't have any that you want to promote. So this is really a branding ad, but it's meant to drive leads. So it's promoting, you know, come sign up with Gina Wilkes, let me sell your home. So what we can do here is modify copy. We could, is there a certain area you're looking to, you know, do we want to find sellers? Maybe there's an area that I specialize in, and I want to target people selling in Fountain Hills. And so I could type that in specifically.
Oh, they don't have Fountain Hills. We're too small. We'll go back to Chicago.
Okay, sounds good. And then we could overlay that Facebook audience, that seller audience specifically. So let's do the universal seller audience. And let's say if I just want to focus on sellers, what we could do is remove in the body text, take out the looking to buy and just say, yeah, looking to sell.
Okay.
And then we would want to select an image from the gallery.
Okay.
Do we have oh, perfect.
Yeah,
See?
I'll just do it.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. And the headshot can be in there where it can just be very, very simple. And this could be, you know, a picture of a house that you've sold in the past still. It could be anything like that. Is that does definitely get attention. And then you can choose if you don't want to utilize your agent profile image, you don't have to. We do find better success in ads that have an image so that people know there's like a person behind it. There's definitely a lot more success, which is why that is a default in this system. So I would highly recommend making these more personal. Okay. And then since this is going to be a lead form already within Facebook, then the landing page should be maybe just an about you, who you are as an agent and working with you here.
Okay, so I'll just put in some website, right? So, and so it'll be, you know, either your own website, your IDX, it could be a site where you have all your reviews, either Zillow, Rate My Agent, whatever it is, taking them to another, you don't want to take them to a place where they're going to have to fill out another form.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you want to hit next, yep, perfect. What I like about this option is this gives you an opportunity to be always on, because you're always looking for seller leads and or buyer leads. And so these are monthly subscriptions that you of course can cancel at any time, but it's just the opportunity to have that ongoing. And even once you submit the subscription, let's say I have a new headshot, you can go in and update that ad later. So it's 6 months down the road and I want to update my copy and creative. You can still update that and have this subscription on. So it's a nice always on opportunity just to help with consistent lead generation.
Yeah. And then right here is where the program name, this is a really important part for you, because this will become, this is the source that you would use in Wise Agent to create your rules. So once I, you know, whatever I choose, and I can change this up and I can say, you know, Chicago agent promotion, this is then going to be, then it's going to be, this whole name is going to be my rule name. And so the source name. So then you would want to, you know, go ahead and click on next here and, you know, put in all of, you know, finalize this ad. And then you go into Wise Agent and you start working on your rules. So you make sure that whoever is filling out that form, that they're getting, you know, an email, they're getting a text message, whatever it is that you have set up, the AI bot set up, you have them going on a drip campaign and whatnot, so you can nurture. That's, I mean, you're spending money on this, even if it is just a $2, you know, cost of acquisition, you still want to, you know, make that dollar stretch, right? Especially lucky you, you only paid $2 for this lead. You want to make sure that you're nurturing that. So that's how that would work. So it's really just really easy. And then you can come back into it. So once you have saved everything from the digital ads, you can just look at all of your ads that are running or not running, right? Some of them that have been canceled, and you can just look at your programs from here. You also have the ability to see what leads have come in and when they came in. So you can, really, just kind of to make sure like, hey, I want to know what's happening, but you'll also be able to see that from here. So if I go into this just sold here, then this was the source of that ad that we inadvertently ran last night, that then I would be able to see the 3 leads that I got into the system from here. So that's a really important thing to note. So you're able to see, kind of just see everything all in one clear shot. So I'm seeing some questions in here, Gina, about like they wanted to show the Google ads, because Google is like, it is a really powerful platform. And so we do have the ability to create Google listing ads. So maybe you want to talk a little bit about that.
I think that's great. Yes. And right now we only have this one Google program, and the rest are Facebook, but there's going to be more coming, just so everybody knows. And this one specifically, yes, is a Google listing ad. So we could choose our listing. So everyone would be populated in, just like for the Facebook ones. So we could choose our property, maybe something easier to say.
Yeah. Fire Rock is easy for me to say.
Awesome. One thing to note, look at the previews. They just changed. So there you see on the side, and Google has a ton of different previews for their ads. I want to say there's 20 some. So we show like kind of the 7 main ones here so that you can see. Right now for Google, we are only able to do radius targeting. Those things will change. So that's one thing that's a little bit different from Facebook. You can get more specific. This Google blueprint is really about reach and optimizing for clicks to your website and really help with that growth. The size of the Google display network is, I want to say it's 96% of the US internet population. I don't know off the top of my head what Facebook is, but Facebook is going to be a lot smaller than that. So Google has, hundreds of thousands of really great properties that we're going to be running on here.
Yeah. And when you say that the objective is to go to a website, is it really just like to go to, ellenisrealty.com, or is it more like going to a landing page so they can view maybe this listing or all the listings that I have or whatever it is about me? Is it more about the landing page to fill out that form?
I would say, it's worth a test, but in this case, because it is the property, it's worth going to that property, but then just making sure on that landing page that you're easy to contact. Yeah. Or maybe 2, if we could even add in information, contact information, like your phone number or anything like that within this ad as well. So that is prompt in the ad where people can see that house and be like, oh my gosh, like that's it, that's the one, and pick up the phone and call.
Okay. Yeah, so then because you could easily within Wise Agent create a whole single property page from our landing pages regarding this property that you're selling, and then have them directed to that, have that be your destination URL, have that be right in this area here, instead of it just going to myrealestate.com or whatever.
Yes. One thing to note, the additional information on the bottom, so realty name, Google does require a business name in order to run an ad. So this is key, where just enter in your brokerage name or your business name here, so that Google has that, but that is definitely a required step.
Okay. And then you can even do your custom destination URL. So this could go to like, rachel.green.com. Oh, I spelled today. Okay. So it could go to that, or it could go to your landing page. So if this was, you know, a page that was about this property, I can send it to that, send it along to that. Okay, so we'll just do that for now. Did I forget something? Okay. So, and there should be, so, and that's the nice thing too, is that it'll tell you, you know, hey, you need to have a minimum number of characters. You should have something here.
Yeah. So in this case, the listing address is just too long. So I would recommend that we pick, is it maybe the neighborhood or something else that we could bring forth? But yeah, those are the kind of thresholds that we put in place and buffers to make sure that ads don't get submitted and then rejected to Facebook and Google.
Yeah. And then again, your program name is going to be your source within Wise Agent. So you want to make sure that that's that you recall that, so you can put that in there and set up that lead rule. Okay. And then really that's just pretty much about it. It's not, I mean, it took a few clicks and not really much of anything else to create this digital ad. I mean, once I click on next, that pretty much processes everything. Do the ads run like right away? As soon as I click next, is it going to just start running the ads right away?
Yeah, so it will go into a pending state. So you'll see it briefly in a pending state, and then usually within 1 to 5 minutes, it should then go into an approved state. And if for some reason it is in like a rejected state, that's when the Vocalize and the Wise Agent teams will be working on that behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And then reach out to you through support if anything needs to change.
Yeah. Okay. And so then that's pretty much it. I mean, it's really is just something that happens pretty quickly, doesn't have much, not much room for error in here. And I think that's the beauty of it all. Like the whole integration is that there's not much room for error. It's, you know, we kind of walk you through everything. There's really little, because of all of the thought that's taken into the integration of making sure that these ads, you know, are being going through all of the stipulations that, you know, Facebook will hold anyone to running their ads. It really just makes it easy for everyone. And then the integration within Wise Agent, so you can start nurturing everyone right away, because that's the biggest thing, is that we talk about that all the time. The speed to lead is really critical. It is kind of like a mission critical thing that you reach out to them right away. It's not enough to just run your ads. You have to reach out to them and have a plan for them and have things laid out. And so that's where there's just throughout the whole entire integration, everything we thought of at every corner was, is it going to save time? Is it going to save money? Is it just going to make life easier for the agents? So there's, you know, so they have a more, you know, just have more business and everything else coming into it, right?
Absolutely. No, I feel like this is the trifecta. You have the audience integration, you have the drip campaign options, and then yes, yeah, you have everything that you need there.
Yeah. And so, I mean, there's really, I think that's one of the biggest things is making sure that, you know, and then you have our support, because one of the questions was, how do I get a hold of Google and Facebook when there's a question? There's really no one, you know, it's hard for an agent to just get through to someone from their support, especially if you're running a $100 ad. That's going to be something that they might not answer their phone calls to you. We do get, we do have some, you know, have some direct access to some people at those places, right?
Actual people.
Yeah, actual people from Facebook, from Google that we could talk to and make sure that there's, you know, we help you with anything if there's an ad that gets rejected. And those are minimal and something that we work with you on that. So that's one of the benefits of using this integration. So I think, you know, did you have some other like best practices, Gina, that you wanted to go over with everyone on when they're creating an ad, or even, because I think it's the creation part, I think is the easy part. I think it's like the thought of it, like, okay, where do I first start? Like, what's my first jumping off point?
Absolutely. I would say, apologize for the dog. She's running around. What I would say is, you know, if you have listings right now, promote them, test it out, see how it goes. Yes, they're going to sell, but see how that goes there. Excuse me. No.
I know you and I both are like, all of a sudden my throat too got a little.
Yeah, a lot of good talking.
Yeah.
Good conversation. But yeah, so I would, if I have a listing, I would test it out and promote it. I would put $100 against it, run it for 2 weeks, see the leads that come in. I would test the lead ads piece. If you're somebody that doesn't have listings right now, that's growing, I would either do an agent promotion lead ad, or in the other case, I would maybe even do like the Google ad and really try to grow, or excuse me, not the Google ad, the home evaluation ad. I think that could be something that'd be very interesting that maybe we could touch base on real quick. Because I think this is a unique ad that is very new in the industry. The home valuation ad is another way where you could potentially get seller leads. So it's an opportunity to get people just start that conversation if they are curious, like how much is my home worth today? I want to start that conversation with you. You get them in the database and maybe they're not ready to sell, but again, it's someone else that you can nurture. So I think that this is a really powerful ad too.
Yeah, and this works well with like our landing pages that we already have. So you can really just use one of the, the landing page from within Wise Agent that already has the form built into it. So really the ease of this one, and the amount, like, especially with the market being the way it is today, everyone wants to know what their house is worth. Everyone's curious, like, what do you think I can sell this for today? What kind of equity do I have?
Yes.
Even if it doesn't, that person doesn't even sell with you, you're adding them to your database. You're adding them to your sphere where you can start nurturing them and really, over time help convert them. It doesn't happen overnight. Statistics show that it takes at least 8 touches before you start converting, like someone converts from a lead to a client. So that nurturing part of it is, it's a little bit of a process, but it's well worth it.
Absolutely.
And so would you say if they did have a listing that they were going to market, would you say that Facebook or Google is one better than the other, in your opinion?
They're both so different. That's such a good question. So Facebook is just going to be smaller reach, but we do see very high engagement there. And it's a great way to generate leads. With Google, it's a great way to start growing your network. You may not see leads right away based on how that blueprint is set up, because it is traffic right now. But Google is going to be coming out with a leads product shortly, which would be great too. So then we can add those extensions. But so I would say if you want to drive traffic to a landing page and generate leads that way, Google's going to have great reach. If you're interested in trying out the Facebook lead form and just getting people in app and not having them leave, that would be a great way to get leads.
Yeah. And the lead form too, just to clarify, that form is native within Facebook. So then any information, so let's say I'm filling out, Gina, your ad on the form, Google automatically fills out that form based on my profile.
Or Facebook does, yes.
Yeah, my Facebook profile. So if, so that like most of the time, that's just the convenience of like not having your leads have to type anything in. And so, and that just does get there's that stickiness factor to it where people are just like, oh, I can just click this and it automatically fills everything in. Sure. Yeah. Click submit. And that, and that just goes out where there's less likelihood of, you can change it, but less likelihood of like fake information, right?
Absolutely. And that's why too, we ask those qualifying questions of like, are you working with an agent? Because if they say yes, then maybe you're kind of tread lightly here. Or again, like how soon are they looking to move? If they say just browsing, they're just looking at the pretty house. That's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate all the information and everything you shared with us today, and I hope everyone found some value in that. Sarah posted, and I'm sure she'll post it again, the video, the tutorial of integration that we have and how to run digital ads. There's best practices that you can reach out to us, and we'll share those with you as well that you can find in our knowledge base. I know, you know, it can be very complex and kind of daunting to run some of these digital ads. But one of the things, and I know a lot of people might be thinking like, oh, the market is so hot, and if I, you know, if I get a listing, like I know it's going to sell, you know, tomorrow, which is great, you know, and it probably will. But you also have to think down the road too. You want to make sure that your pipeline is always filled and you're getting people in there. You don't want that to dry up. You want to make sure, because those listings right now are kind of hard to come by. So
they are, which is true why then that seller leads and running that sold listing to get seller leads to say, hey, I did this and we got X amount over asking.
Yeah.
Is a huge opportunity to communicate that.
Yeah. Yeah. So great information, Gina. Thank you so much. And thanks for you know, tuning in with us and being here and sharing all that information. I know next week I'm going to be on April 12th, which I think is a Tuesday, but I'm not really sure. Maybe it's not a Tuesday, but it's at 10 a.m. on the 12th, whatever day of the week that is. I'm going to have my dear friend Mara Sullivan and I are going to be having a conversation on social media posts and how to get more results from that. So that kind of goes hand in hand with this. I know we talked a little bit about boosting posts, but really you should definitely be doing a lot than just, you know, running digital ads. You should, it's one, like having social media posts and posting things and engagement is another part of your marketing strategy. So I know, Gina, you're a marketer at heart. So yes, digital ads, definitely be doing that, but also be posting, right? And
yes. 100%. In no way is digital ads replacing the posting. I believe they truly go hand in hand and that you should do both.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're going to be talking about that, and I'm sure we'll mention ads at some point too in that conversation. But anytime you guys have any questions on how to run digital ads or anything related to Wise Agent, reach out to our support staff. You know, we're here to help you. You can just reach out to us at help@wiseagent. If you don't have a Wise Agent account and you're kind of curious to see what the hype is all about, just go to wiseagent.com and you can try out the free trial there. And you know, we'll go through training and everything with you. So, yeah, so check that out as well. I'm sure Sarah will be posting that here in a minute in the chat. So there we go. Thanks, Sarah. All right. Well, Gina, thanks so much again. I really appreciate you and appreciate your time today with us.
Thank you so much, Eleni. No, very appreciate it. I'm super excited about the product. So hopefully it makes everybody's life a lot easier and helps everyone grow their business. That's the goal.
Yeah, and I'll be sharing results with you on what people are doing here. So if you guys are running any of those digital ads, let us know. I mean, let me know. You can always send me an email. It's just at Eleni@wiseagent. I'm happy to read your emails and hear how things are working for you. So I'll see you guys next week. Thanks so much, Gina.
All right. Thanks all.
Thanks. Bye.